This conference will now be recorded.
are not
This
going to cover
conference will now be recorded.
we are not going to cover EPPM in our course, because EPPM involves your uh, three more parts. Apart from PPM, there is I believe that investment management and one more profile is there, which is included in that one. So EPPM is little wider scope than PPM, and it's very tough to cover, as well as I didn't get much exposure to it yet. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
no, that's
definitely,
fair.
definitely going to I'm going to grab on that as well, but not now. It will take time. So I'm setting very much expectation here. Our goal would be here in this course to cover PPM, and the allotted timeline would be around 20 hours. Okay, and let me
Hmm.
show you the contents that we are going to cover during this course. Okay, so just give me one sec. Let me pull that content here. This is the slide that you are looking for, but content I will pull it in which I have mentioned topic wise, and if that meets your need and everything, then based on that we can take it ahead. Okay, so just give
Hmm.
me one sec. So you are currently logging in from Delhi NCR.
I'm actually on site.
Okay, on
I'm
site.
in, yeah, I'm here in Denmark actually currently, and we are getting one project here for PPM, and I'm that is the reason I'm also trying to learn this module.
Okay, so let me find out where is that. Will do. So almost 20 hours we will go max. It will take 20 hours to cover this around. So here you're able to see my Word file that I have pulled on.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
first we will cover out a brief overview and all, which we will do it today itself during the session, demo session itself. We'll cover about the PPM, what is used for, and basic what is portfolio, what it stands for, what's the need. Those things we'll discuss about that, and then we will move on to the structure of defining a portfolio, how we define a portfolio. Then what is that the different aspects of it, like we have a portfolio type, we create, after that portfolio we create classification hierarchies, templates, and then we create items using those within that portfolio, and we create buckets. So we create within buckets, we create items, then items we map to project. We create in the item, we will have the decision points and process changes, status workflows, like where to configure workflows, where to activate the workflows, we'll see that. Because let me tell you one more thing, that these are the test systems that we are currently working on. So workflow, we can see where to activate and how to activate and agents to add, but sometimes mail will not trigger and all, because these are the test system. But in real system we will do the same thing. You will see that the mails are triggering fine. So that we will see where to do these configurations, everything we'll see. After that we'll discuss about something called initiatives as well, which is a completely separate paradigm. It's a mixture of item, bucket, project. It has all the, what you call, it's a mixed hybrid thing. Okay, when you will come to this, you will might get a little bit confused, but I will try to clear that confusion, how it is different from other things. The initiatives is a kind of hybrid element of this entire structure. Then we will see about the financial and capacity planning, how we do at item level, how we do the planning, and then how we move those planning, and it gets moved to a project level. Those things, integration with the project, that we will see. We'll map this capacity planning and financial planning to our, when we will go to the project level, we will see that planning, that resource planning, and efforts that we'll see. So those things we will map it. We'll see the flow of data from item to project. Those kind of scenario we will cover. Then there will be reporting function, collection, reviews, what if scenarios. These are like something which are like additional features which is used for only reporting purposes. So we will look into this, how to configure this, and what are the uses of this, and in real time scenario, what all can be linked to these things. So we'll see snapshot simulations. You might have heard in your PS also, I believe, where
Yes,
you keep a
yes.
snapshot and for comparison, right? So those
Yeah.
things will cover those things as well. And then we'll link the project management to our items. Those also will see link options. Then we'll see the resource planning, where you will do that creation of business partner, and then staffing of those business partner in our project, how to make responsible resource for a project, and everything we'll see there. Then we'll integrate our project resource planning with the capacity planning of the item. And along with that, we'll see this integration options of SAP project system. So this project system, mainly this we will try to focus on, how to integrate it with project system. Okay, and again, it is not job of like one guy let me tell you very honestly, it takes like a PS consultants as well, which you are there already, and I am PPM. So we'll try to achieve this in this system also, because this Navin has shared some new system as well. Previous systems I have done in my in one of the trainings I have shown is this one that was achieved. But sometimes what happens in some systems, some FICO related parameters are also there, which are needed. So we'll try to achieve setup ourselves. So, but the thing is, all the steps I will show you, and we'll try to achieve this, because sometimes what happens, I have seen in one of the batches happened with me, that they did this, we did everything, but it didn't work because of some FICO, something was missing, FICO related some configurations, which I was not aware of. Okay, so we tried that, but it didn't. But like almost 3 batches it worked for other systems. So system keeps changing. Now it's new 1909 system that Naveen has given, so we need to explore on that one. So this might take little bit of time. So usually one session should be enough, 1 or 1.5 session, but take sometimes 2 sessions also, just for I will do some R&D, and we see where it goes. But we need to see that how, when you create a project in your PPM, it should create automatically a project in project system. If I am not if we are not able to achieve this now, if this doesn't work, I will give you that one of the recording of the session where I have done this has worked fine, completely fine. So what happens, due to some missing parameter in the FICO set, that might get a little bit in trouble, but I'm very much sure we will try to achieve, because you are aware of PS very well, you are well versed in PS. So, and I am okay with like everything in PPM, so we will be able to achieve it, I'm very much sure. Okay, then we will come to this key figures questionnaire and scoring model, based on which your risk analysis of your project will be done. Okay, then we will see the project management. We'll start with the project management template, creating project types, and defining structure of the project, and phases, uh, its associated phases and tasks and authorizations, how you control the authorization in the project. So those all things we will see. Then we'll see the planning. Then at the end we'll see the confirmation of the task. Okay, so these many topics we'll cover in next in our session of 20 hours. And
Okay.
only challenge we will face is this portion, I am telling you very openly, because this is like a lot of effort is involved here, and it completely depends on system configuration and test system. People keep messing around, so it's very like known thing. So it's sometimes it sometimes it gets stuck somewhere. Okay,
Okay.
so that's why I'm saying that this is the only point where we need to see, like we need to be very careful, and we need to make sure all the configuration we are doing it properly. And if I'm very much sure, if we'll do everything properly here, we should not face any issue here also. Okay, so this is
Oh,
the content that we are going to cover. And the thing is, these are pretty much standard that apart from this, lot many things you might find over the internet, and integration with your HR, integration with your other different modules might be there, but everything is not possible to first cover in the course. And as a single person, and I take care of sometimes I take care of technical part of it, so it's not possible for me also in a project to handle end to end. We have a member of 3 to 4 people at least. We need at least 3 to 4 consultants for PPM. As you're saying that you're going ahead with deployment, I can guarantee you will need at least 3 to 4 people of PPM experience. Okay, to go ahead
okay.
with this one. So if you go for like 1 or 2 members for deployment, if your client is going ahead with that one, then it will be like huge and huge like effort that you need to put in to meet the deadlines. Because I have done it 2 projects, and I've seen with 4 to 5 consultants also, we were like on the verge of missing deadlines. We made it, but it was very much like tight. Okay, so it all
Okay.
depends on client budget and timelines, definitely. But PPM also in itself is a giant, but PS is bigger than PPM, definitely. It has a lot of features, more than much more feature than
Uh,
PPM, PSS. Yes.
but in PPM, like in S4 HANA,
Hmm.
with 1809 release, PPM has become a part of the standard core, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yes, definitely. Yes.
so, in that sense, have you worked on S4 projects also, or
As
because
for HANA, I'm
then it
currently Yeah, currently I am supporting on that one. I couldn't get deployment experience on S4 HANA system, because
okay,
like when I joined as a PPM consultant, already the deployment was over currently in my current organization, and I was hired for what you call support in that one support project. But the thing
okay,
is, configuration itself is everything is same. Only integration part has some variations in S4 HANA. That's what I'm saying.
yes,
Integration will be tricky. Integration part will be tricky for sure. Okay, but we will try to achieve that, don't worry. Okay, and I'm very
Yeah.
much sure we'll be able to achieve that. It's nothing that we cannot do, man. Okay, so you have
Yeah.
been there for 12 years, I have been there for 7 years, 7 over years, 7.5 years, and 5 year in PPM, so I believe we should be able to do it. So that won't be a worry. Okay, and it has become because now S4HANA is a kind of embedded architecture. Okay, it follows. It has all the modules, even gateway systems also. Sometimes it will be on the same system, everything on the same system. With Fury in picture, everything is on the same system. And one more thing, I will give you, along with this, I will give you like an overview of Fury as well. Little bit Fury from functional perspective. That what all you need to look out for. If you are not aware of already, if you are aware, then it's fine, great. Then otherwise, then we can skip that. Otherwise, I half an hour I would explain that how when you are going for any app for PPM or any other module. Okay, so let's say PS also. So how to like analyze in your system that if that app is compatible for your system or not, and how to deploy this, what all roles you need to for that app. If you're aware of those things, then good. Otherwise, we can take it in the 30-minute session. We can take it up the entire architecture of that, how to go with Fury, because Fury has become like necessary now for functionals as well nowadays. So
Yes.
that also
Yes.
that also add-on I am giving currently with this, because I have worked on this Fury project for this one PPM. And like for one of the client, for that they had PPM 6.1 on that ECC, that they had business suite on HANA scenario. In that PPM was separate system. Okay, it was not part of core at that time. So like last 2017 end, towards the end of 2017 or 18 beginning, sorry, 2018 end, towards the end of 2018. So like 2019 beginning, so I did that. So like we moved everything from it is WebDynPro based tool, right? So Fury,
Yes.
sorry, PPM is the WebDynPro FPM based tool. So we moved entire WebDynPro and everything. It was highly customized for them. So we moved it to completely custom Fury apps completely. So
Okay.
that is also, so the thing is like lot of different scenarios might come up, but we will cover very much standard. We will cover everything. Apart from that, we will see what all can we can take it up in our session. So is that fine?
Yes,
Or
this is
okay.
fine. And just one thing, when we are talking about capacity planning in PPM,
Hmm.
then is it basically the project based planning, or we will also consider the workforce work center based planning in this way?
No, it's just like you can say rough cut planning kind of thing. Okay, where you have like initial you don't link it to a project or anything. You just uh, it's mainly for approval purpose, you can say. Okay, that you plan a budget. Okay, you have a allocated budget, you have planned cost, you have entered everything, and actual cost will come from project. Got it? So in item, in capacity planning efforts and all whatever you are entering, that is your planned efforts that you will be entering. Okay, so
Ye-
it
yes.
will be like not linked to any like work center or anything. It will not be linked to those things, any FI entity. It will not link to that. Okay, it will be
Oh,
separate completely. Okay, we'll
okay.
come to
Like in,
that and we will see.
yes. Just
Yeah.
yeah, just to have a better
Yes.
understanding, because this is one of the critical thing. I really want to understand how it works in PPM, and really looking forward to this, because in PS also we have the capacity planning. Okay, and then in PS basically the capacity planning is the basic concept of capacity planning. You can correct me afterwards whether it is the same in like you will cover the same in PPM or not in not in that manner. Because what happens is you create the work centers where you assign all your resources, the entire team, and where you maintain the capacity planning profile, how an employee is basically distributed over the work center. And when you assign that work center to the project, then
Hmm.
you basically take the resources from the work center and assign to the different project based on their availability. And then
Hmm.
there are the final reports where you can see, okay, in this work center I have 10 resources, and these 10 resources are supposed to work 8 hours
Hmm.
every day. And
Hmm.
for the next 2 years, my
Hmm.
10 how many of these resources are available, and how
Hmm.
many of these 10 resources are allocated to the projects. So is this the same kind of setup? Are you going to show it in ppm also?
The thing which you are talking, we will see definitely that distribution, that is called distribution in PPM. Okay, so what happens that is there are two parts in your PPM. One is item and another is project. Okay, so in item we do capacity planning, and the thing you talked about is resource planning that we call. If you see here, we have mentioned here there is one topic here called capacity planning. Okay, and there will be other portion where I have mentioned resource planning. If you see roles and resource planning, you see, so
Yes.
based on the role, the rate of that resource get determined. That what is the rate, that chargeability of that resource, okay, per hour.
Mm.
And then resource planning, when we create the business partner, there we define the availability of resource based on its location and everything. Then we define that, okay, in this month this much is availability, in this month this much is availability. Based on that, we do the
Okay.
staffing in our project. So that is completely what you have explained. That is totally covered in your resource planning part. And here we don't have any work center kind of concept. We have kind of team. We
Okay.
can create a team resource pool. We can create, there is something called resource pool. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
and from that
Okay.
resource pool you can pick the resources and you can do the staffing. And there, while you are creating the resource, you need to determine the availability. And when you are putting it, staffing it into the project, it will show you that this resource is overstaffed, or this resource is already locked in some from this date to this date. Like that, you will be able to see everything in your project. Okay, PPM system.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
That
so
will very
that is
much
exactly
cover the.
exactly what you have explained now. That is exactly your resource planning, not capacity planning. Capacity planning, we don't define any resource. In item level, we don't assign any resource. There is no resource. We just assign different what you call, you will see category groups and views. There is something called category groups and views. We will divide our work and effort and like cost in those three paradigm. And then we will see in that we will see planned cost, actual cover. So it's just like item is all about mainly planning, and project is about execution. So whatever the actual staffing and resource planning will happen here, that cost will rolled up to the actual cost part of your item automatically. And there
Okay.
you can compare
Okay.
at item level what was your
Okay.
planned and approved budget, and then what is your actual cost has occurred. In item you will not see any resource name or anything. Okay, everything resource related thing you will see in resource planning in the project. What you talked about exactly same thing we will do that. Okay, and we will do the effort distribution of that effort across the month. Let's say I have 200 hours of work has come up, and I know that this I have resource which works 8 hours per day, and I need to make utilize that from January to February 200. So how many resource I need, everything, you just click on the distribute button and it will distribute your effort from January to December. Like that, you have to give a start date, end date, and your distribution will be based on your calendar that you have selected. Okay, it will
Correct.
exclude the holidays and everything, and it will have weekends, and it will distribute the effort accordingly. So that's how
Okay.
we are going to see this in this resource planning part. That will be
Okay.
totally covered in your resource planning. Okay, and then we will see this, that I am saying, that actual thing that will move to your capacity planning. Okay, so that we will see in this integration part. Same thing we will do for financial planning also. Here you see capacity and financial planning. So here also that cost will get into your financial planning also accordingly. Okay, so that will be integration will be there for resource planning, capacity planning. So that will be integration, that will covered in this integration part of it, from item to
Okay.
project. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, so this is all about your overview and content that we are going to cover. And let's start with a little bit basics about the portfolio and what is portfolio. We'll start about here. This is little bit outdated, is it is not as per S4HANA, because there have RFC connections I have mentioned, but in S4HANA this RFC connection is not needed, first of all, because
Yes.
everything is lying in your one system. Okay,
Yeah.
that is one thing. This you see HCM is integrated. Earlier how used to we design HCM is for your business partner creation. There are standard IDOC type which is you need to set up. That's all. Your technical consultants need to do that setup that enable those IDOC type, standard IDOC type, and whatever the resource you are creating in your HR master record, okay, will automatically get generate, will trigger an IDOC to your PPM system, and there it will create the business partner. Okay, so nowadays what we do, we directly create business partner in your PPM system because it's embedded scenario. There is no separate say, hey, there the customer, vendor, everything is of like all are called business partner only in S4HANA. Everything has become business partner now. In PPM, since beginning, it has always been business partners. It has to, if you want to staff anyone, if you want to staff any team or anything you want to staff in a project, it has to be form of business partner. It cannot be a customer, it cannot be a vendor, it has to be converted to a business partner. Okay, since beginning it has been there. PPM always uses only business partner. Okay, even an
Okay.
employee you are staffing to any project or anything, you need to convert that employee which is maintained in HCM or HR system. It has to be converted to first business partner. So nowadays everything is business partner, so it has become simplified. So this RFC is not needed, and then we don't have to trigger any IDOC or those kind of setups, and this is done automatically as soon as you create. So that is where it's become very much part of core system. So that's the benefit that has come up with S4HANA. That S4HANA is
But
not for
but in
simplification.
our yeah, yes,
Yeah.
and in our in our training session, we will do through the RFC
We will
channel,
no,
correct?
we, no. We will. It's as for HANA system. We'll directly create business partners.
Ah,
We'll
okay.
directly create business
The
partners.
training will be conducted on S4HANA. Is
Yes.
that
It's as for HANA
okay?
system. It's a new system that Navin has given me. So that's why I just
Oh,
need
okay.
to see that username password is working or not. Is Navin there on the call? Hi, Navin, are you there? I believe he has dropped off or
Yeah,
something.
I'm there. I'm there.
Okay, he's there. So Navin, if you remember that username password for this PPM HANA DB system,
Give it to
or
me.
this will that Fury user that I was using, will that work?
Yeah, you can use that. You can use that.
Same user, no?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, same.
okay. Let me try that.
Is it going to be PPM on HANA or is it going to be S4HANA? Prince,
This
because
is
these
S4
two are
HANA.
different
S4
things.
HANA. I will
Oh,
show you this S4 HANA system. Because I had the old system, no, that was configured. I think there is some issue with the registry key or something. I uninstalled and installed this SAP again, but still it is showing those two names there. Okay, which was
okay.
previously installed. Okay, let me show you how you can identify it's as for HANA system or not. Go to more, go to system, go to this status, and there you see this product version. You see product version details. Click on that
Yes.
and see your versions. Install product version. You will see S4 HANA on premise 1909 initial shipment stack. That is the product
Okay.
which is installed there,
Yeah.
right? So you can verify from here. And what is the PPM version, everything you can see. Let's see what is the PPM version which is installed here. So PPM related components, if it is installed here or not, or everything we can, portfolio and project management should come. Let me see if it is installed on this one or not. PPM. So usually it should be there, but I don't see it. Navin, I don't see PPM in this one.
But I think it's not a separate component, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
component,
fine.
look, basis component, it has to be installed to, right? It like sometimes it doesn't come, everything installed doesn't come. So sometimes it has to be installed separately, but in the same system you can install it. But I cannot see.
Because it's a part of core in
Yes.
1809.
It has to come in this one only, but I am not seeing here. You see that you have human capital management is there. Naveen, I'm not seeing PPM component in this. So do we need to worry about this or directly? Let me try to use
Actually, you
directly.
can't see the component separately in embedded system for the PPM and CPM.
Okay. Okay, for CPM also. Let me try NWBC here. And so NWBC NetViewer business client that, okay. The user menu for tree is empty. Please contact your
Just log
system
out and log in
administrator.
again. Just log out and log in again. You'll be able.
Okay. Let me log on. The thing that PPM on HANA DB that you are seeing, Avine, that is your business suite on HANA scenario, where your database is HANA, but you are still on ECC, not as for HANA.
Yeah.
So that is the scenario that, yeah, now it is working. So let me see if for portfolio structure anything is loading. No default portfolio assigned. Select switch portfolio. Okay, let's see. We can create our own portfolio. That is not an issue. Let me go to administration and let me try to create portfolio. So before that we have to define portfolio types. Always allow. Okay, so First, we need to set up the portfolio type. So let's discuss these things first without jumping the gun. Let's discuss first from basic, start from basic. So system is now working, so that is great. So what we will do, that first of all, let's try to understand. Let me pull some other blank document where I can draw something, or like you can use it for some purpose. Instead of using this existing slide,
Mhm.
I'll go for little bit of. So first of all, what is portfolio? When it comes to portfolio, what is portfolio? We need to understand that. Okay. So what is portfolio? In layman's term, you can call it line of business. A company usually sometimes will have multiple portfolios associated with. Let's take an example of Wipro. Wipro is into products also, right? They are into products. They are into
Mm,
services also, right?
mm,
And let's say Tata. Example, another example, Tata. So they have Tata Motors, one portfolio where into motor car vehicle manufacturing. Then they are in consulting services also, TCS. Then another part is there, which is Tata AIA, something like insurance, finances. You would say Tata Capital is there. Lot many things. So they have different line of businesses associated with it. So those are the different portfolios that Tata has, right? So in order to manage his business, you have to break down your business into you. In order to manage entire company, they need to break down their company into different line of businesses. Okay, they have to segregate, they have to draw a line between different areas: motors, consultancy services, and your finances, let's say. So three different portfolios, line of business. So that is your different types of portfolio that they are dealing with. Okay, so based on that, different employees will belong to different portfolio, right? There will be, let's say you are working with TCS. I
yeah.
am working in I am working with Tata Motors. So we both will have complete separate type of projects we will be working on. We will have separate what you call day in day out tools that we will be using. Everything will be separate. Our chargeability will be different. Everything will be completely separate. And I should not be able to access your line of business data or whatever the cost. Their cost has to be reported separately. Expenses and income, whatever revenue, everything has to be reported separately so that they can have a great clear picture that which line of business is doing what. Okay, how the business is getting done in both the all the different portfolios. So that's why segregation of your line of business is very much important. Portfolios are important. That's what in layman's term is portfolio. A portfolio is the line of business the company is into. So that's why we need to define different types of portfolio first. First, while we are trying to map any project, okay, first what will happen? A requirement will come. What is use of PPM? Portfolio and project management. What is the use of it? It is used for managing your company's portfolio along with its ongoing projects. Okay, you can track the progress of the project. You can track the budget, how much was your allotted budget, what was the allocated budget, how much was the planned budget, how much is the approved budget, and how much you are actually spending on the project, where if there is a risk, how much is the like deadline you are going to miss or not. All those kind of milestone you need to set. So those things, if any project you are doing, let's say Tata Motors decide to set up a plant somewhere, for example. Let's say they want to set up a plant in Bangalore, for example. They want, so that's a huge project, new project is there, so they need to evaluate different scenarios here, right? They need to come and they need to evaluate. First of all, they one planning will happen, that okay, so based on the location, based on the geographical area, based on the political situation of that company, there will be evaluation phase will be there. So one initiative will be taken, so that is somewhere that one initiative will come into picture. Okay, so initiation is your idea that was planted. Okay, so there one idea came that okay, let's start a plant in Bangalore. That was the idea, initiative that has been started. Now there will be an effort, estimated effort. There will be a duration of the project associated with this. Will be the start date. Let's say I will say 1st of March I will start, and I am planning to finish this 2020, and I want to finish this by 1st of April 2022. 2022 it should get finished. That should be the end date. Now based on the resource cost here, how much the labor force cost you, how much the materials cost you, everything, so you will try to prepare a planned cost you will try to prepare, right, for this particular project. Okay,
Yes.
and this all is happening under which portfolio? This all is happening under Tata Motors portfolio, right? This is happening in a Tata Motors portfolio. So portfolio is nothing but line of business. There is another project which is under TCS, let's say Tata Consultancy project is happening, let's say, for example, in which they are going to start some kind of deployment of SAP or some other thing, some other software they want to deploy for their personal use or for the external client, anything they are going to do. And client has allotted them certain budget and everything. So they want to track it, everything. So that also, let's say start date is 1st March, and it will be 1st March 2022, and it should end on 1st March 1st April 2021. So its duration is around to 13 months, let's say 2021 they want to deploy it, let's say. Okay, so this is under TCS portfolio, this is under Tata Motors portfolio. All should go, all expenses should go in the different uh, like areas. Okay, that it should not, this whatever the expenses is happening, this should not be included with this one at top level as a part of company of Tata Group. Okay, there it will be reported all together, expense everything. But within the company, in order to report the like reporting purpose and tracking purposes, we need to have separate entities. Those entities are nothing but your portfolios we divide in based on the line of business. Then in both the places you will have what? You will have planned budget, planned cost, or planned budget, whatever you call it, planned, let's say it will be planned cost, I would say. And there will be planned effort, like how much manpower you need, and how many days they will work and everything, planned effort. Okay, then you will have then you will send it for approval. Then ideas go get sent for approval, and once it approved, it becomes an item, or like it becomes a project. Sorry, item gets approved, and then the project starts, project execution starts. Okay, so once your planned cost and every your planning is approved, then only you will start the execution of that plan, right? So that execution after that gets tracked by your project. So that's how the entire architecture is designed. So but what happens within this portfolio also, there are small segregations. Okay, there will be small segregations, that those segregations are nothing but your something called buckets. So let me go back to this diagram here. Okay, so here one example they have taken here in this in the old slide, they have taken one example for real estate business, very simple real estate business. So here also similarly we can have it, Tata Motors only, let's say, is the portfolio. Okay, and here I can have multiple projects going on. One is for establishing a plant, one is for, let's say, establishing a starting a new model of car. Let's say I want to launch a new model of car whose start date is 2021 and I launch date is 2023. In 3 years that model has to be like idealized, then your like all designing and everything, that manufacturing of it. And my target is that 2023 I need to launch this model, new model. So that is a separate kind of work. Okay, this is you are investing here in your infrastructure where you are separate starting a new plant itself, and here you are starting a new product. Okay, new product you are going to design. Okay, you want to deliver a new project. So this can be done within the existing plant also, right? So this is for new product, let's say this is for new product or new car launch, whatever new car model is getting launched, and this is your new plant that you're going to set up somewhere. So both are different types of project, right? Both are different types of project which is going on and whose expenses you need to track. So there can be multiple places you are launching the project, so there can be multiple here, and let's say one in Bangalore. So this will be in Bangalore, one will be, let's say, you're doing in somewhere in Pune, and then you are doing in Kolkata. Different places, cities you can put it here. Here also you can have, let's say, this new product you are currently this is Tata. Let's say I will give in any name, let's say Hurricane, I will say some name I will give. This is this model, and then you are having another model in progress whose date is similar, Tata Harrier or anything like that. Some other model is going on. But the thing is, all belongs to this Tata Motor portfolio. All are expenses and income for this Tata Motors portfolio, right? All will come under this Tata Motors, right? Tata Motor is the entity which is responsible for these things. So what will happen now, that this new product, these are called buckets, new product and new plant. So in this bucket you will have all those such projects and items which will be your for new plant. When you are setting up a new plant at any place, For that purpose, you will be using this kind of buckets. So these are called buckets. Okay, when you divide your portfolio into smaller entities, those are called buckets. Okay, for just for reporting purposes, these are done for reporting purposes and segregating your projects on different types. Okay, segregating your items. Technically, I will not say project here, because unless the planning is approved and everything is finished, unless the item is approved, your project has not started yet. So we will not call it project. This is still item. So what is item? That one entity, like multiple ideas that you have put up in your system to track. Okay, those entities are nothing but your, initially those are initiatives, then they converted into initiative of items of the initiative. That means it becomes an item. That means the item will have a planning associated with it. Always remember, item will have a planning associated with the financial planning and your capacity planning. Those will be associated with your items. Those items, let's say one is this one in Bangalore location, one plant setup item is there. Then another plant setup item is there, which we need finish by 2021 in Pune location. Then one more is there, one more plant they are going to set up somewhere, and they want to finish it by, let's say this is also 2021, but in, let's say in Mumbai location, just example. And this, they are going to launch one more something. I will give any name here. One more project. They start one new model, Tata A1, let's say something like that, and they want to launch it in 2022. Okay, so these two are items. If you see these two models, so whatever the cost will occur, everything, they will roll it up to new product level. Okay, that is a bucket level. Okay, so they will collect all the cost planning, everything, all the data at item level that you are going to plan will get all collected together, add up together, and will get rolled up to this bucket level. Okay, so that at bucket level you will get to know that under Tata Motors, in how much you are going to spend in the new plant and how much you are going to spend for the new products. So this way you will have overall idea. So that's why there is a different layer. First you, and then you add these both the things, it will become at portfolio level, right? So any confusion in this portfolio bucket and item hierarchy? It's a kind
No.
of chain.
Yeah.
Okay, you can better make it like this. It will look much better like this. Okay, I would say more like this. Okay, so
Yes.
you have cost at individual item levels and planning, everything you have planned, budget and effort, how much it will take, you have mentioned here, that will get rolled up to the bucket level. And then you will have this here also, other items also, other type of items for new plant you are going to establish in different cities. So for that you have different items to keep track of the cost, how much cost is needed, and efforts you have proposed the budget and everything, that this much is needed. Then it will send for approval, and then your, once approved, your project will start. Actual budget will get allocated, and then you need to see how much actual cost you are consuming out of that budget. You should not obviously go beyond that budget. You need to finish your budget within that, you need to finish your project within that allocated budget. Okay, and then these will be rolled up to this bucket level, and these two bucket level will get, then you will get rolled up to the portfolio level. So this is how we keep tap of. So that's why this hierarchy is needed. Same thing for a real estate project I have shown here. If you see, let's say real estate portfolio is there. Within the portfolio we have a bucket. We generally, what we define a main bucket here. Why we define a main bucket here after portfolio? Because bucket will have your information, financial and capacity planning related information in the bucket, where we can maintain the currency, we can maintain the calendars, like those hours, like per hour, those things we can maintain that. What would be the working hours, and like eight hours per day, like that, those kind of rate we can define. Okay, so why we create an extra bucket here? We could have defined this commercial and residential buckets, two different buckets within the real estate portfolio itself, but I have defined a one master bucket here. Why? Because what happens that whatever the bucket you will inherit from it, automatically it will copy all those values from here. Okay, and you can roll it up all the cost at this bucket level, everything you can see. Okay, at
Mhm.
portfolio level you cannot see your planned cost or those things, those you can see at bucket level. So that's why we have created a master bucket, from where the financial and capacity information it will fetch in the child bucket. Automatically you will see in the system how it is getting copied, everything. As soon as you create a child bucket within this bucket, automatically its features will get inherited in this bucket, and its feature also in this bucket. And once you populate everything in the items and all, will get rolled up to this bucket, and then from this bucket and this bucket to this bucket it will get rolled up to. So it's very easy to track. That's why a master bucket is needed. Always create. It is highly recommended that within the portfolio, don't create your working buckets directly. Always create a master bucket first, and inside that you create whatever you want to divide your new product, new plan, new plant, new model, whatever you want to create buckets. In that bucket, you will have your different items. Okay, so if a bucket has your item, that's the end of your bucket. Okay, that means there cannot be further sub buckets inside it. In the bucket we can have sub buckets also. For example, let's say tomorrow one more plant come in Bangalore area only. One more plant I need to establish in the Bangalore area. So what I will do, instead of I need to see, I need to track cost and plant cost and everything at bucket level, let's say at Bangalore location level, let's say. So what I will do, I will create one more bucket here. Inside this new plant bucket, I will create a sub bucket. I would say Bangalore, and in that I will put this project. Okay, and one more project which is going to get launched. I am putting one more plant in Bangalore, let's say. Okay, so now what will happen, these two will get rolled up to this bucket level, right, Bangalore bucket level, and these two are items already, so these all three will get added. This Bangalore bucket, this and this will get, all three will get added, and it will give you new plant level. At this level it will give you the estimation. But for Bangalore location only, if you want to see, you just go and see the Bangalore bucket, and you will get the information how much you are going to spend, or in like how much cost is consumed in the Bangalore projects. So that's why we segregate buckets into sub buckets to have different what you call angles of measuring the cost and effort, and have a keep a tap on it. Okay, so that is the reason you can divide your buckets into sub bucket further, let's say. Okay, that is the one of the main reason. Okay, otherwise there can be various reasons also. Line of business type, one of the client was there where we had different types of, they were into e-commercing. Okay, e-commercing, they had this payment solutions which they used to provide to Adobe, Microsoft, other clients. So they had this client type of portfolio they had set up. Okay, they had only one portfolio in their company, e-commercing, and then in that they had different buckets. Let's say gaming client, then they had software clients, software developer clients like McAfee, Microsoft, those things. Gaming client, they had some game developer companies were there over their client. In software they had this Adobe, other thing. Then they had product based clients like Samsung, who were using their payment gateway. Okay, and few more like electronics company, that was separate category. Then one more was there. So similarly they had divided their bucket. In that also they had divided different categories. Okay, like in electronics they had divided it into Samsung, LG, and few HTC, like that. They had different segments, sub buckets in it. And then they keep track of the like expenses there, like they used to when it used to get deployed for that project, the cost that they were collecting, everything. So that was getting linked to that those projects within those buckets. Okay, the items within those buckets, we'll come to that. Not actually that scenario, but we'll set up our own scenario. Okay, and then we will see how these things flows and why we need bucket and sub bucket and everything in the system. So for this, and then you see here there is something called initiative also. So initiative, just park it for a moment. I would not start initiative because that is very confusing term when it comes to initiative. That is a complete separate topic I will cover. Okay, initiative, we'll take one day to understand initiative and why it's needed. Okay, so let me tell you very honestly, many projects don't use initiative. That is the least used feature of PPM. Okay,
Okay.
initiative, and most confusing feature of PPM. I think that's why it is the least used. Okay, because it has a feature of buckets, it will have feature of items, it will have a feature of projects also. So that is the
Okay.
weird thing about initiative. It has feature of everything, you can say, all the elements of your portfolio. Okay, that is the most complicated structure of initiative. Okay, so any confusion in the structure, like what is portfolio, why we divide into buckets, what are buckets, and then, so anybody, if you ask that at what level financial planning you can see, financial capacity planning you can see, it's bucket level you can see. Okay, you plan
Okay.
it at item level, but you rolled it up to bucket level. Okay, whatever the items are there within that bucket, then you can roll it up from those items to the bucket level, and from those sub bucket level to master bucket level, upper layer. Okay, you can keep rolling it up to the bucket layer. In portfolio layer you won't see any planning. Okay, planning will roll up only to bucket level. Okay, that's the end of it. Bucket layer is the end of that planning part. And after that, what happens that if you have a item inside a bucket, then that's the end of that bucket. You cannot have an bucket also and item also within the bucket. So the structure, which as far as I remember, I think this I'm saying it correctly, I believe. So what will happen here, that this format will not work, because in new plant, sorry, in new plant bucket, I have given you one sub bucket also and two items also, which is wrong. It will not work. You have to design two more sub buckets. Then one will be Pune, though only with one what you call PU, PUNE. Okay, though it will have only one item in it, but you have to design a bucket. There is no other option. Okay, it has to have a bucket inside it, because once you have a once you have an item within a bucket, it's end of it. So we had already defined a sub bucket Bangalore, so there cannot be other items in it. We have to define, if you have to define some other items in it, you have to design sub buckets in it. So I have designed a Pune sub bucket. I have only one item in it, and I have Mumbai sub bucket. So in future, if I have any project coming up to set up a new plant in Pune again somewhere, so I will incorporate in this. I will make use of this bucket. Otherwise, this bucket will forever have only one item, and this is the end of the hierarchy. Portfolio, which is your major company, your Tata, like this is your different portfolio of it. TCS, Tata Motors. Okay, two portfolio I have defined, TCS and Tata Motors. So in that portfolio, you have new plant and new product buckets. In the new plant, you have Bangalore, Pune, and Mumbai sub buckets. Now you can see at what level you can do the reporting. You can get your planned cost, budget, everything you can get at what all levels. You can get based on your product type, like the project type, which kind of project you are running. Is it a new plant project or it is a new product project? At that level, you can get your cost and everything. You can get it at location level also, you can get it. Okay, and then something we'll discuss later, something called classification hierarchies, where that is called alternate hierarchy also, where we can change this paradigm. Like you can make a Bangalore, and within that Bangalore you can set up new plant and new product. So in Bangalore also you can have two kind of projects, right, running. Either one you are setting up a new plant, and one you are setting up a new product. So if this Tata Hurricane is happening, this project is happening in Bangalore, and you want to know the actual cost at Bangalore locations, you have to incorporate the cost from here also and cost from here also, right? These two also, and included with this also. So you need to set up an alternate hierarchy, where the arrangement will be done based on the location rather than type of project you are running. Okay, in Bangalore you will have two in Tata Motors, just below Tata Motors you will have Bangalore, and in that you will have new product and new plant. Similarly, you will have Pune, in that you will have new plant and new product. In Mumbai you will have new plant. So it's the kind of alternate hierarchy, alternate arrangement of your bucket structures. That's your alternate hierarchy or classification hierarchy. We'll talk about that also, okay, later in time. And that's the usefulness of it. That's why it is used mainly, alternate hierarchy. Reason being, if you want to see, because this item thing, whatever you are creating under bucket, everything is planning phase. This is your planning phase. So where you want to see and align in different scenarios, and want to see which will be the best suited way, best most beneficial way of getting your project executed. Okay, so you need to compare in different kind of matrices you need to prepare, and you need to see that which one is most beneficial way to that. So that's what this planning is all about. Okay, so this item creation is everything from portfolio to item, everything is all about planning that we'll do. Okay, once that is planning is done, everything is approved, then starts your actual project. So I hope this structure is everything is clear. Same thing is like this image, that what is happening in portfolio A, portfolio B, and there will something called collection and alternate classification hierarchy reviews. We'll see that later. Those are like for comparison purpose that we will create. Okay, one will be at the cross portfolio level, one will be within the portfolio level. Within one portfolio you can do it. Okay, so lot many things are there. That means now this is typical task distribution. Who does what actually in portfolio administration? In portfolio, you will have something called portfolio administrator. So if you see this tab that is appearing up, that is based on the role that we had shown here. Portfolio administration. This tab you will not give access to any user. Usually in real-time scenario, nobody have this access but your admin team only. So initially, once you have set up your portfolio, and let me tell you very honestly that in real-time company, this has to be touched only once. This structure that we saw, that has to be set up only once. If your company is changing this structure every day and day out, that is not good at all. That is never advisable. Okay, because then your structure, you are not able to segregate your business type itself, like what kind of business you are running and all. Then it's very much unstable, very difficult to manage. These things you will do it once, you will set up a portfolio and portfolio structure, and you are done. That's all. Once in deployment you will do it, and after that you will never touch it.
Okay.
Whole life support life will go with items and projects. That's all. You will keep creating items and you will keep creating projects using these portfolio and buckets that you have set up initially. Okay, you
Mhm.
don't have to do these things day in day out. So only in the beginning you need to set up. So this is a very serious discussion that you need to do with your client, that how you want to structure your portfolio. Okay, without
Okay.
this setup you cannot proceed at all. This is the first step, very first step, that you need to understand the business of your client, for what purpose they are going to use, and how you can map it to this. Like I have shown you two examples, very simple. One, that Tata Motors, based on portfolio I have divided it, right? And one is in this slide which says your real estate project, where I have shown you that how they have divided it here. If you see real estate, it has a commercial project and it has a residential project. In commercial estate, they're creating buildings, real estate project for retails and office space. For retail stores, let's say Big Bazaar or more mega store, whatever, they are creating those. And then on the other hand, there are malls or whatever. And then there is office space they are creating under commercial. They're making some SEG, a special economic zone, business parks they are creating, right? And then in the
Mhm.
residential, they are creating villa and apartments. Two types of projects they are running: villas and apartments. They want to see how much villas are costing them and everything. They want to see at villa level. They want to see at apartment level. So that's why they have segregated their residential project in villa, and two more sub buckets they have done it. Okay, and that apartment, you have different projects going on. Let's say Sikka Karnam Greens or Lakeview Apartments, different project names you will hear, right, every now and then. So those kind of things are going on. So they have their different items and initiatives. Initiative will come to later. Okay, don't get confused with this initiative. For the time being, ignore initiative. Okay, that's a part of
Mhm.
hierarchy, that's why it is put here, but we'll explain it later, not now. That is not like currently we should not discuss. That will be better. Then you will have a project out of it, and then you create a PS project out of it. So but anyways, coming to this initiation, planning, execution. So main here execution, they are showing it in PS project, but we do it in PPM project. We will do the confirmation of task in directly in PPM project itself. Okay, we will confirm the task. That means it has been completed or whatever. We will do it in PPM project directly. So you can see that a real estate business has been mapped here in this portfolio. That's what you need to do for your client as a very first step. So this hierarchy you need to understand first. Okay, and these are the main terms, which is your portfolio, bucket, and your portfolio item. These three are your part of portfolio. So we have two parts here in portfolio and project management training. We have two parts. First part, we are going to cover about everything about portfolio, which covers your portfolio, buckets, and your item, and initiative also we will see in that one only. Okay, and that alternate hierarchy, classification hierarchy, or are like your comes under your portfolio only. So lot many topics for this. So first part completely will cover the portfolio part, and once we have finished that, then we will move on to project part of it. Okay, so there are two parts of this course. First is portfolio part, and second is project part. And then we will start seeing the integration of both. How both are integrated. So this structure you need to first learn from your client, that how you can map it in your system. If you are not able to map this, then it's a big trouble. You will not be able to set up portfolio PPM for the client.
Mhm.
Okay, now let's move on to the system configuration ones, and I will show you how to create portfolio today. We'll see. Okay, first of all, you need to define something called portfolio type. Okay, so first, whenever we define a portfolio, we define first type, because when you try to create the portfolio, you click on create portfolio, and you will see it will ask you to select portfolio type. So currently, if you see, lot many people has created lot many different types of portfolios. Okay, we will define our first portfolio type first. We'll see initial how to set up the portfolio and how to default a portfolio for a user. If it is not appearing for a user, that portfolio, because when you will open your system, it will say the same error that it showed me in the beginning: no portfolio has been assigned to you, click switch portfolio, something like that. So one thing you can do here, if you go here, you see switch portfolio, you click, it will show you the list of portfolios. You select a portfolio which is created and you set it as default and click OK, and always that portfolio will come. That is the real-time production scenario where you will have only one portfolio in one company. 99% chances are you will have only one. Okay, only one portfolio. Second is, like, sometimes we don't give this button itself, we hide this button for the user, switch portfolio button, and we default it from the backend itself, from the system itself. There is a one function module is there or report is there. Let me check. Let me check. I believe it will log out, so better I will log in again. I have some this GUI installation issue here in with this SAP new system. It logs out every few minutes, so better I will log in again. SC37, there is some start default portfolio, something like that is the RPM default portfolio user port. Get the default portfolio and let's set the user portfolio. I think this is the one. Set user portfolio. So you have to give the user ID. Let's say my user ID is S4 Fury user 4. Okay, and I have to give the portfolio GUID here. The portfolio that I will create, there is a table, portfolio underscore D slash RPM slash portfolio underscore D underscore D. One table is there. In that I can see the GUID of that portfolio. Okay, and I need to give it here and I need to execute it. Just continue or execute it, this function model, and that will become my default portfolio. So this is from the backend that we control, and in the front end with the help of configuration, or I think technical, we just hide this switch portfolio button so that every user, no user will have the access to switch their portfolio. Let's say a company has multiple portfolio, as I showed you, Tata Motors and TCS, two different portfolio. You should not be, even if you are admin to this TCS system, you should not be able to see Tata Motors, what going on in Tata Motors. You are not authorized. Okay, so we don't give user to option to switch itself. By default, we assign using this function model. We put it in a program and we do it as a job run. We set it and we put that default it for that portfolio GUID, which is for TCS, and all TCS employees get set the daily night. If new user is created, so that user will get set with this portfolio automatically. That's how we handle it, and we don't give option to switch portfolio so that they won't be able to see other portfolio. That's how we control it. Okay, so that's it. So first of all, we are trying to see that how to set create portfolio. Let us see. First of all, what we need to do, let me go here and go to SPRO. We have to define something called portfolio type. We have to define what type of portfolio you are going to create. So let us go, and in this we have to go to SAP portfolio project management. In that you go to portfolio management, and then in global customizing, I think it was portfolio dependent settings, define portfolio type. Okay, so here you define the type of your portfolio you need to define. Okay, then you need to select this type of portfolio. Okay, so let me create a new entry, and I would say Jed, and I would put Vinay. Okay, Jed Vinay portfolio type. I would say Vinay, so that it will be easy for you to find. So you have to give something meaningful portfolio type. Usually you'll define only one in your real-time project, because you define different portfolios based out of this portfolio type. And for this you can define, you see, field overrides and lot many things, that the item overrides, so that we can define based on the portfolio type. So based on that, what will happen, these properties will get decided. Whatever the portfolio type you are selecting for a portfolio, in its item, with these properties will get overridden. So whatever you are defining here, okay, those things will be available. So that's why this portfolio type assignment is needed. Okay, let me see, what is it, FB. So this is your fiscal variant. This is for, let's say, I would say half period. This is mainly for calendar related actually. So calendar year, zero specific, let's say, I would say transfer type yearly, save it, let it be whatever the T code. So based, just select this and go to this field overrides. Okay, the main purpose is, like you see here, just go to new entry. You will see here that you can hide and display like fields. So there are something called object type in your PPM, which is defined for every entity that we saw. Project, we saw, sorry, we talked about project, we talked about bucket, we talked about items, we talked about initiative. Everything has different object type associated with it. So you'll see RIH is for item. You will see there will be something called RIH. You see RIH item. So I will select, let's say, object type item, and you select the available standard field names, all the field names which are available in your what you call item level. It will show you external ID, portfolio, GUID, parent GUID, all it will show you. Change by, you can say change by activity. In activity, it will say admin, who can, for whom. If let's say you are admin, so what will happen to this field? For admin, this field should be enabled or not. It should be visible or not. It should be read only or not. For user who has no authorization, for that how this particular field should behave. Those things you can control at portfolio type level. Based on the portfolio type, whatever the item later we will create within this portfolio, which is of type Z Vinay, so it will take that kind of feature. Okay, for that purpose this is there. So once we will create item, we will see, we'll come here and we'll maintain. For the timing, let's remove this one. We don't need this. I don't see option to delete. Yeah, here it is. Let me select this and delete. Okay, and save and come out for the timing. So not that Vinay I have maintained. If I go here and I would say administration and I would say create portfolio, I should see that uh, portfolio type in my list. So you see Abhinay training, it is coming here. Okay, so I would select that Abhinay training. I would say continue, and I have to fill certain information here. Let's say I would say Vinay portfolio ID you can give where let's say Jed Vinay 01. Using the baddies and all, na? Baddie implementation, you can make it like based on some number range also, or auto generate, and you can disable these fields. Okay, using baddies with the help of a wrapper. Okay,
Okay.
so now description you just put and make sure the status is active, then only you can use it. So always check this status is by default active or not. Document notes, you can, if you want to attach or put some notes, you can do that. In miscellaneous you will have this like authorizations and all. You can add users and all who should be authorized to this. Okay, you can do that, or you can leave it blank. Okay, so just leave it blank for the timing. I would say save, and now it has saved. Now the call to RPS passed is invalid parameter object created data save successfully. What happened? Call to RPM passed is invalid parameters. What the hell is this? Anyways, this is having some issue, I believe. Okay, you see it has got created. Okay, it is created. It is opening fine, and now it has, you see, multi different tabs are coming within this. How many items are there, initiatives are there, collection, reviews, buckets, everything you can see in this particular portfolio at one place in the administration tab. But this we have not set up anything, so currently everything will be blank. Bucket tab will be blank, your items tab will be blank, initiative will be blank, everything will be blank because we have not created anything. First we need to set up buckets. Okay, so buckets and all we will see later. First let me do one thing. Let me default this portfolio to my user ID. Okay, currently what is happening, let's say I will go to this portfolio and portfolio management, and there was switch portfolio button, I would say, and I will select this. You see Avinay portfolio is coming. I will say this one. Okay, select and set it as default, and I will say okay. Okay, so what will happen now? If I launch it again, by default that portfolio will be selected. I hope it will work, or it's logged out or what. Let me see. Okay, it has opened. Let me launch this. And now you'll see some default portfolios assigned to me, right? You see AFS01 I selected, so it has been defaulted. Now I need to override this. Okay, so I can switch portfolio and I override, and I can select it as default portfolio. I can do that, or using this what you call function module I showed you, right? So using that also we can do. So first of all, let's go to SE11 and find out what is the portfolio GUID of the project portfolio that we have created. Okay, so that would be slash RPM slash portfolio underscore D. Okay, so let's see first contents. External ID. I think I gave Jed Abhinay, right? Jed Abhinay, I give external ID changed by access for Fury user 4. Okay, yeah. So as soon as I gave, it has shown me. You see, Jed Abhinay 01 I gave. Okay, external ID was Jed Abhinay 01, not Jed Abhinay. Okay, now you see, this is the portfolio GUID. This is your portfolio GUID here. Okay, so let's display this and just copy from here. Okay, just copy this from here. Both will be same, portfolio GUID or GUID, both will be same. So copy this portfolio GUID, and now you go to that SC37 slash OSC37, that function model that we were talking, set user portfolio. You give this GUID here. Okay, get the GUID of your portfolio that you have created, give the GUID here and give the username S4 Fury user 4. Okay, and execute. Okay, so EVRC0, so that means it has executed. I believe it should be successful. So let's see, now let's close this and let's launch again. /n and WBC. Let's launch it again and see if that Jed Abhinay has set as the. So you see, Abhinay portfolio has been set as my default portfolio. That function module, you can ask Wrapper to create a program which will call that function module in loop, and you have to pass a list of user. That's all, and you need to schedule it in the background. So your program can use it in a delta mode. Let's say you can do it, and you can check in the table, users table, that if any new user is created today or not. If it is created, then run that program, then call that function model for that and set this particular to this. So every user will have different role. TCS user will have different role. Tata Motor user will have different. So based on the role, you just compare and figure out which is Tata Motor, assign him Tata Motor portfolio, otherwise assign TCS portfolio, and it will get assigned like that. And you default the portfolio. So we'll stop today, okay,
Yeah.
at this. And this is this is what I wanted to cover, the till like portfolio type definition and how to create portfolio. Later on, bucket structure definition, that is the next step that we will start from tomorrow, or like not tomorrow, actually, whatever the time that we will
Ye-
agree on. So
Yes.
pass it on to Naveen, and he will get back to, we'll coordinate via Naveen, and then we'll get back on confirming on time if you are going ahead with the course, obviously, then only. Okay,
I
so you
have a
can.
few questions here. Can I ask,
Yes,
please?
yes, please tell me.
How does it work with the system access?
No, that these things Naveen will answer you, because
Okay.
Naveen will give you the access. You just check with him that based on your like how much is charging, and how much is how the payment is made and all the stuff. Based on that, there is cost obviously associated with the system, because per user I think
Yes.
Naveen is paying something, so he will let you know. Okay.
Okay. And then one question, Prince, maybe it's relevant for me also, and talking to you. How about the certification for PPM? Is it available?
No, it has been discontinued. Earlier it was PLM 510, PLM 550, those books were there and certifications were there. But now this
Okay.
has been it has been deregistered, if you'll see on the website. So it's like
Okay.
2-3 years back only, I believe it has been deregistered. So last I know of a guy who did certification was in 2016. After that, I believe nobody has, I have in my acquaintance has done it. And I checked like last year only I checked, and it was discontinued. I also thought,
Okay.
okay, I have now for almost 4 years or 4+ years of experience at that time last year, and I thought I will go for certification or something, but
Yeah.
then I saw that okay, it has been discontinued. Okay,
Okay.
so just wait. I believe something will come up with cloud certification. The SAP has changed the game a lot. For EPPM, I believe they might come up with some new certification. You can just check on this one. Just usually for us in India, it's SAP. What do you call? SAP India
Yeah.
certifications, right?
I
So
know
in
that.
that, so you have
I
that
was.
subscription package, right?
I have the marketplace access. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So just check on that if
Okay.
you have, they have come up with anything for EPPM, but EPPM is not just PPM, it has more to it. So that's why you need to have, you need to get into more than PPM, just PPM for
No, EPPM
EPPM
is a
certification.
different completely. It's a framework. It's not a solution. It's not a component. It's basically a framework where they have SAP, PPM, CPM, and as
Yeah,
well as a EPC
yeah.
connector to integrate with
Yeah.
Microsoft project.
I
So
believe
it's a
investment
frame.
management also is there, right? Investment management
So
also there.
investment management, SAP is planning to. There is a roadmap for investment management. SAP is planning to move it on to SAP PPM. So they are
Okay.
going to obsolete investment management by 2024 or 25, and the entire functionality will be moved on the PPM, and that's where they are going to use initiative, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what news I have received from
Hmm.
from the colleagues of SAP.
Like recently we got like for our client exactly that this I forgot to mention same thing I heard that they also like got some information from SAP that they are using investment management and they are going to take it off, so they want us to like map everything to PPM.
Yeah,
So
that's the
that's why
future
like
direction.
yeah, so
Even
that we are going to start that project soon for our client, like in maybe it's under discussion currently requirement, and based on how much uh, cost we propose, based on that
Mhm.
definitely they have two three vendors obviously in parallel working for them. You know, big companies, they don't keep one vendor, right? So they will keep two
Yes.
three vendors so that they can get a competitive price. So we will quote some price, then they will check with other vendors, and then they will get back to us, okay, if we have got that project or not. If that, then I will also be working on that project where we are moving investment management to PPM.
Yes. Okay.
But
Yeah.
that is long shot, that is long short of time as me. So yeah. Anyways, so I believe we are good with this. And if you have any system related or any like such issues which is not related to PPM, I believe. Okay,
Yeah.
so that Naveen would be able to answer and help you with this for sure. Okay, and slides and all I will be sharing towards the end of the session. Okay, and that will be give with Naveen, and Naveen will share it across with you. And whatever I'm
Yes.
preparing or typing during the session in other slide, that also I will share. Okay, that also I
Okay.
will share
And
later.
just one more thing about that, since you touch base on the slides. So do you guys also provide some kind of configuration documentation for PPM, or any kind of
So
documentation that could help
like
to learn?
you have that certification books which used to have this kind of information, right? So in certification books, when you have that PLM 510, PLM 550 books are there, right?
Okay.
Are you aware of that? Do you have those books?
No, no, I don't have
Okay.
those.
Okay, no problem. I can arrange that. Okay, I will share with you. That I can promise. Okay, that I will share because I have that, I remember, but where I don't recall. Long back only I like you can say that I lost one of my hard drive, so I need to see if I had
I
somewhere
shared
in the
that
G drive.
link. Even I have that PLM book.
Okay, yeah. So Naveen has. So Naveen will share with those things. That has the configuration informations in it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it will have, but I believe I will show you almost all the configuration during the course itself. So if you see the recording, and what we can do that take a screenshot of that particular place, okay,
Okay.
and I will put it in a doc and I will give it to that doc to you, so that it will be live kind of thing that we will be like I will share with you directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
Naveen, just so one question to you. Should we touch base later or talk later about system access or timing, or can you answer it now as well?
We'll talk. We'll talk in the call. Okay, offline, we'll
Okay.
talk it up. Yeah.
Okay, Naveen.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
Prince, thank you very much. This is really
yes,
nice session.
just one quick check, Vinay. What's the time there right now in your place? I just need
It
to.
is going to be 11 o'clock. So we are 4.5 hours behind.
Okay, 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so 4.5 hours. Yes, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, man. And I hope to see you soon. Sure. Bye bye.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Bye bye.
Thank you. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Bye.